original Universal Soldier hit cinemas in 1992, a box office smash that brought together action legends Jean-Claude Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren. It let them go head-to-head in battle, pleasing many fans. It also helped launch the Hollywood career of Roland Emmerich, before he went on to make the influential Stargate and the mega-hit Independence Day. For a while, it seemed like there'd be no worthy sequel to the Universal Soldier. There were, however, 2 TV movies that featured none of the original cast or violence, not pleasing many fans. These were supposed to go on to be the beginning of a TV series, however, that never saw the light of day. Eventually, in 1999, rights issues were sorted and we got Universal Soldier: The Return. Jean-Claude Van Damme was back as Luke, the heroic former Universal Soldier. When Seth, a supercomputer, decides to take revenge and destroy its creators, only he can stop it. All hell breaks loose as Luke battles Seth and a deadly team of perfect soldiers in a struggle that pits man against machine and good against evil. Luke not only has to save his kidnapped daughter, but the whole world. Bullets, explosions, and a lot of new metal. This movie was supposed to relaunch the fading career of Van Damme. A movie I hadn't seen, nor had Van Damme mega fan Benji Copeman. We got together to watch it and had a conversation. Then after that, we watched part 3, which neither of us had also seen. So here are the conversations about both of those movies. Enjoy. Just to let you know, we didn't have too much time to talk about the films. So Benji was eating his kebab. You can hear that, but that's all part of it.
These are the soldiers of the new millennium. Almost perfect. Almost human. Almost.
They're not responding to our commands!
Under our control. Now, one will lead them to destroy mankind.
The time of man has ended.
And one will...
Luke Devereaux's the original Universal Soldier.
to stop him.
No. Been there, done that. The only way is to blow them up and hope the pieces don't keep fighting us.
It's man against machine.
Capture Luke Devereaux. Minimal damage.
One soldier against the ultimate warrior.
Dangerous.
The winner controls the future. Universal Soldier: The Return.
This is not your lucky day.
Benji, thank you for returning.
Good to be back.
Universal Soldier: The Return. Benji: The Return. If you haven't listened already, we've done an episode on the first Universal Soldier movie. Benji is a big Jean-Claude Van Damme fan. I'm a big fan of the original Universal Soldier. He'd never seen any of the movies before we done the first podcast, and I'd only seen the original. We done a podcast on that. Find it. I'll link it up. You may have already listened. And last night individually we watched one of the sequels. I will have explained how the sequels work before this, but the first time Jean-Claude Van Damme's back in Universal Soldier: The Return from 1999. Both of us had owned this on Blu-ray for quite a while, and we've pushed ourselves into watching it. Benji, initial thoughts?
Well. So, yeah, as you say, I'm a Van Damme fan, VDF. Hopefully that's not an acronym for something bad. But even as a Van Damme fan, there are two distinct eras. I would say that up to the Imperial phase, up to say 1998, and then basically anything from 1999 to straight to DVD era, where it's even though I love him, his those films are not exactly the greatest, shall we say?
Yeah.
But so I went in with I tried to set my expectations. I thought it's going to be it's low budget sequel, so you got to look at it from a different perspective.
Yeah.
And yeah, it wasn't a great film, but there were bits that made me chuckle, and it wasn't a complete waste of time. But it's not something I would go out my way to watch again.
Yeah, I mean, it's a strange time in Van Damme's career. He'd just come off several flops, and this did get a cinema release. Now
that was surprising.
Yeah,
that surprised me.
And it was kind of like his last push. But I looking at it, says it got a UK release, and this was a film I was looking forward to at the time it came out. I didn't get to see it because I didn't see that it was on at my local listings. I can remember the music video for Megadeth's Crush 'Em, which was big at the time they were trying to push to be big. But in my memory, it went straight to video. So I think possibly it got a really limited release over here.
Either that, or it was released theatrically in America, perhaps.
Yeah, I've seen a UK release date though, which is
that's interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
So so it might not have stayed for long. But I know that I don't know what it cost between 22 and 24 million, which is very vague. But it only made 11 million back, and I think that's a bit harsh. But it was the end of the 90s. The prime action hero phase was over. And it was released the same year it was around the same time as things like The Sixth Sense.
Yep.
So the
Fight Club, The Matrix.
Yeah. And tastes have shifted. Yeah, it's post Matrix as well, I think. So this sort of thing was big on video, and I think basically people they weren't going to go out of their way to see this film. And I think it did do well when it came out on video. And I can remember, even though I never saw it, it was rerun on Channel 5 a lot. So that's probably why they a few years later did do more sequels. And the one we're going to watch next, Regeneration, is done really well. And then the one after, which I forget the name of, which we're not going to talk about today, is many regarded as one of the best straight to DVD action films of that era. But with this, Van Damme was back. I was a bit thrown because even I've seen the original quite a few times. He's lost his wife, and I don't know whether he married the character from the first one.
I'm not sure.
It's
been a few months.
Yeah, you see a picture of a blonde woman, which isn't Ali Walker. So I don't know. But anyway, and he's got a daughter, and they're still working for the Universal Soldier people.
Yeah.
But it opens really well. There's an action sequence to start with.
Yeah, it's funny because the film starts and it's just boom, straight into action, and I thought to myself, did I miss 5 minutes?
Yeah,
was there some exposition I missed? But no, it just goes straight in, and I thought, okay, that's cool. But it just reminded me of Street Fighter.
Yes, it's very, very, and that was Street Fighter was what, 5 years before this, 4 years before this?
5 years,
5 years before this. And Street Fighter is one of those ones. You're a massive fan. It's renowned as one of his flops. But the budget will be into that, but that's a different podcast altogether.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Street Fighter, it is well worth a watch.
So just to give the viewers a bit of context, I love world cinema, I love art cinema.
Yeah.
But Street Fighter is one of the greatest films of all time. it's up there with Gone with the Wind, Casablanca, the works of Fassbinder, Goddard, whatever.
Police Academy 4, Citizens on Patrol.
Damn right.
Yeah.
I love that film unironically, and I could talk about it for hours.
I'm very much the same with Super Mario Brothers, what came out around the same time. So it starts with an action chase scene. We're introduced to, obviously Van Damme is back. It's the same character as the original film. And we meet Maggie, played by Keena Tom, who is I actually didn't look familiar. She's a TV presenter in America and a fitness expert. So she didn't do many films, and now she's made a lot of money. She's officially a businesswoman, is her occupation. We meet Bill Goldberg, WCW's...
That was a surprise. I thought to myself, he looks a little familiar, and then I thought, okay.
Because in 1999, he was massive. He was the big WCW star.
I don't care for wrestling, and even I knew who he was.
Yeah. And I think he was one of the selling points in this movie. There's no Dolph Lundgren came back, but we've got Bill Goldberg as Romero, who he's had a few other films. He's been in Longest Yard and a few others. He's quite menacing. His performance he just plays a cyborg version of his character in wrestling.
Slightly camp as well, because most of his, that's what that threw me off the film in a good way. Is that it is full of one-liners, you know. So, you know, he would, you know, Van Damme would get away from him, and he'd say a corny one-liner, and I thought that's actually kind of funny in a crap way.
Yeah,
but it's not what I was expecting, because Universal Soldier, the original, was quite a sobering film, you know. And
that's the thing. This is directed by a guy called Mick Rogers, who's a stuntman, and apparently he really got on with Van Damme making this film.
Right.
So he was he'd done loads of films as a stunt guy, and for 25 years he was a fisty Mel Gibson stuntman.
Wow.
And he's directed, and I think you can tell this film is directed by someone who's interested in the action, because there isn't much of a plot. It's basically it's more of a Terminator rip-off, this one. You've got Seth, who is, it's kind of a machine coming, bit of 2001 as well. So
Rogue AI, essentially.
Yeah, so Rogue AI, which is very now, isn't it? But, you know, and
it's funny actually, because I was watching a 90s anime with my wife prior to watching this called Macross Plus, and that had a Rogue AI element in it as well. And I thought, oh, it's really topical, isn't it? But these are decades old films.
Yeah, they've been warning us for years, and no one listened. But no one saw this film.
No.
So, but yeah, I mean that's the plot's quite irrelevant. But it's basically the Universal Soldiers go rogue, don't they? And they want to take over basically the human race. And who can stop them? Van Damme and his kicky legs. And I think the action's really cool. I mean, it's 83 minutes, but the actual film is 79 minutes.
Yeah, so my DVD was 79 minutes, but they run slightly slower than Blu-ray.
Because I listened briefly, had it on the background, one of the commentaries, and they kept referring to it as a 79-minute film. And I think in-out action, pow, it works. I would have liked to have seen this on the big screen, because when I think action films, I do think, I used to rent them and watch them on TV. I can't remember, apart from the third Die Hard, when I was a kid, Speed, I can't remember I saw in many of the big action films in the cinema. But with this, it's got that new metal pumping soundtrack, which I'm personally a fan of.
It's the most egregious use of new metal since Jet Li's The One.
Yes, another banger. And did you remember Queen of the Damned?
I know, I haven't seen it, but I know of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of new metal in there.
Like Orgy and Godsmack and those sorts of things.
Yeah, and this has got like Static X. And there's a War on the soundtrack as well.
Yeah.
And even though not new metal, but you've got the anthem from Megadeth, which I think was supposed to push Megadeth, make them more relevant in the late 90s. Didn't work. It's also an album called Risk.
That was said to be their worst album. Very polarizing album.
I really like that album because it's more
the contrarian.
It bombed, but it was more of a rock album than metal. There were some sing along songs on that one, and it was the title even came from one member of Metallica, I can't think who, said that Megadeth was scared to take risks, so they called the album Risk. And because Dave Mustaine isn't bitter or anything.
No, of course not. They're best friends.
Yes, he curated metal. But this whole movie was pushed to be big, and just really, for the use of a term, fell on its arse. But looking back, I still think it's an enjoyable ride.
I think it's okay. So when I watch a Van Damme film, there are three things I want.
Yeah.
And I would argue this film only achieved one of them.
What?
So one of the three things I want.
He doesn't do the splits.
So he doesn't do the splits. There's no nude scene where you see his bare ass.
No.
Which is a shame.
I thought there was at the beginning, but it wasn't him.
Yeah.
But it's after the action thing.
Yeah. But he did do a spin kick.
He did a spin kick.
So I thought, okay, well, 1 out of 3 ain't bad, which is the best Meatloaf.
Nearly a Meatloaf. Yeah.
Song of all time.
But I was going to make the sort of joke, and well, it's half joke and half true. Goldberg only had 3 wrestling moves, and he does all 3 in this. So that's quite cool. So I think maybe wrestling fans might pick up on this more. So phones are going off. It's fine. We haven't got much time to record this, so it's all cool. Just if you're listening, don't think it's your phone. That's my point there. A real highlight for me, though, actually saying about the action in Goldberg, was when the character of Maggie, I think it's Maggie, says she rides him down the stairs like a
toboggan.
Yeah, and it's kind of played for laughs, but done straight, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's obviously a visual gag, and then he hits his head through a wall after. And Goldberg, he is wood in this, but it works because
you can't take it seriously.
And then you've got the other female protagonist played by Heidi Schwartz, I think is her name. She plays Erin Young, who is a reporter, much like the Ali Walker character in the first one. Mm-hmm. There's after things all go wrong with the Universal Soldiers, she attaches herself, really, just joins along for the ride to get a story, and becomes a bit of a love interest. And that. But she was Pride in 7.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know that till I'd done a bit of research. She's also in. She's retired now, but she's also in the Truman Show.
Wow.
Yeah. And you've also got Xander Berkeley played the Doctor at the beginning, Dr. Dillon, who was in Heat, loads of things. Do you recognise him? No, he's at Heat, Terminator 2, A Taken, Kick-Ass. But to be fair, he does look a bit different in this movie.
He does have a big beard. No, but he's got is he the one with the sort of? He's the creator of the AI.
Yeah,
Okay,
the one who, spoiler alert, gets killed. Yeah.
10 minutes of the film. I hasten.
One thing I really despised about this film, I'll be honest, was the character of Squid, played by Brent Hintley.
He was very jarring. Do you know what he reminded me of? He reminded me of the punk from the Terminator at the start with the sort of Mohican. Yeah. It almost felt like I was watching a completely different film. Yeah.
This guy he is a computer nerd, really annoying. He's got the spiky 90s new metal look hair, and I think it's meant to be a bit comedy relief, but it isn't funny.
No.
And he's a computer nerd genius who is helping, basically, the AI, Seth, who is voiced by, and then later the actor, when he goes into a human, by Michael J. White, who I didn't realise till I researched this, his sort of martial arts background. I'm going to be honest, I've seen him in a few Asylum films. I know he'd done a few stuff for Trauma before he got a bit bigger, but I know him from the movie Spawn. He played Spawn in '97, another box office bomb, which is a film that when I first saw it,
it's dear to your heart, though, isn't it?
No, I hate it.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think it's rubbish, but I'm fascinated by it.
Yeah.
And I've even bought the recent reissue of the Blu-ray, the Arrow, but I've still sealed it. Still haven't had, but I just found I'm interested because I want to hear the interviews and see what they think about it. And one day it might click. I mean, it took me 3 watches to really enjoy Blade Runner. But I never really despised Blade Runner.
That took a while. Blade Runner. First time I watched it, I liked it. I appreciated it for what it was before it was overrated.
Yeah.
Then the second time I thought, hang on, something's here.
Yeah.
And then third time onwards, I thought this film's an absolute masterpiece.
Exactly the same here.
Yeah.
Exactly the same with me. And I'm going to go. They're showing it on big screen in Ipswich in January, so I'm going to go and see it again.
Beautiful.
World away from this movie though. But we had this. Van Damme himself said about this film, it's a simple film with simple characters, and I think it's meant to be a popcorn crowd pleaser with action scenes, and for that respect, I think it succeeds.
I would say that it does definitely feel quite cheap, because the first Universal Soldier is almost like a road trip film with a big budget, whereas this one is primarily set in a building with a couple of excursions outside. Yeah. You can definitely tell the budget has decreased somewhat, but there are lots of big explosions to make up for it. Big
explosions. Well, what was one of the very quickly Paul Malcolm from LA Weekly, a mind-numbing exercise in body counts and big tits. That was his review. There was for no reason they go into a strip bar, and
that was funny.
And the strip bar was owned by the 2 brothers, Dimebag and is it Paul from Pantera.
Oh wow!
So that was it. Mainly got bad reviews. There was one guy, Kevin Thomas, from the LA Times, really liked it, and the only quote I could find though is that he called it a really satisfying sequel.
One quote I read last night on my on Mubi, the art house website, which I rate films on, said. After watching this film, I wish the electric guitar never existed. Oh, see, that's someone. That's probably some folk fan.
Maybe. No, I like the soundtrack, but I suppose if you don't like metal, it would be really annoying.
It's weird because I love metal music. I love new metal, but in a sort of ironic sort of way. But actually, talking about the music, one thing that did surprise me was the composer of the film was Don Davis, who also did The Matrix.
Same year.
Yeah, same year. So I thought, oh wow, that's was that before
Well,
Matrix or post Matrix?
Well, this is the thing, because if you went back to say 98 and said these two films were in production, especially after some of the flops that Keanu Reeves had been in, like Johnny Mnemonic, you'd expect this one to be the bigger hit.
Yeah.
And
you can never predict these.
No, it really wasn't. And this film, it has become a bit of a cult classic, and you do see fans like it. But we'll move on to talk about the third one in a minute, Regeneration. But I've read, obviously I've not seen this film yet, that Regeneration ignores the return completely.
Yes. Yeah, that's how I understand it. So it's a bit like Halloween almost. You've got like 3 or 4 different timelines depending on how you want to watch them.
Yeah, which is something I don't like with films. I think something's out there, right around it, live with it, you know. If you want to bring a dead actor back, you can do it in Universal Soldier.
Yes.
I like what Scream done when they brought people back. Yeah. But
sorry, I have one last question.
Yeah.
An existential question. When I was watching this film, Jean-Claude Van Damme plays a Universal Soldier, someone brought back from the dead. Mm-hmm. How is he able to have a child?
Father a child, yeah. There's she's she's
know.
half news reporter because of the mum, if it is her,
Yeah.
and half a zombie soldier. So yeah, they sort of skim over that completely, which is something that it's a short film. Maybe it was edited down.
Yeah, I'm not asking for logic.
No.
I'm just trying to understand.
But there was, it was written by, just very quickly, so William Malone, who done the story, and then later on, someone else come and sort of tweaked it. The guy who tweaked it directed Black Roses, which is a horror metal film that I recommend. But he wrote originally William Malone wrote the story for this, and then he was offered to direct it, and he went off and done the remake of House on Haunted Hill.
Oh wow!
Which was I've never seen, but a big hit.
Yes.
So
probably made the right decision.
Yeah. So and he'd have made money off this as well, probably if anyone did, because he just sold the story. So very quick rating out of 5 for this one. Before we go.
I have to give it a 2.
2.
But 1 for Van Damme and 2 for Van Damme.
So I'm going to give it a 3 and a big hell yeah, because it's that kind of movie, and it is the sort that I watched it last night. Yesterday morning before work. Probably wrong time to watch it. I should have watched it after the pub on a Friday night with a few beers.
I watched it at 10:30 at night, so I probably did it correctly.
Yeah, well, at least it would have finished before midnight. So there we go. Okay, so we're gonna have a break to watch the film. We could play you guys the trailer for Regeneration, then we'll be back in a sec.
Руската атомна електроцентрала. Искаме пълна и безусловна независимост на Пасалон. В реактора са поставени експлозиви.
Chernobyl has 100 times the radiation.
Gentlemen, we'll be fighting against the perfect soldier.
In the 1960s, the US began research into the Universal Soldier program. A stronger, faster soldier. We're moving in on a staggered 6-front maneuver. Sitting ducks out there. He let us in, we would have taken him out ourselves. He didn't stand a chance, he never did.
You call that an army? Just one of my men. That's all. Imagine an army of men like that.
That is real power.
What is our shared solution? Who's in control?
I have a few questions for you. Please answer yes or no.
Friends find you impulsive and unpredictable.
Yes.
Do you see yourself as a person who starts quarrels with others?
Sometimes.
Rehabilitation was never part of his design.
This is your last bullet.
Then let's do it.
You can't reverse use of hormonal therapy in a day. It's like rehabilitating a fight dog, then putting it back to fight.
Going back. Back to fight.
You have to ask yourself whether a dog once it has tasted blood can ever forget that taste.
30 minutes, we're officially at DEFCON 1.
If you unleash this heartbeat, you may not be able to control it. How do you feel?
Helpless.
It's what it feels like to grow older.
You often contemplate the complexity of life. Are you a punctual and reliable person? Are you rested? Are you happy? You often think about humankind?
Bleeding back.
Right, we're back. Just watched the third, well, I like to call it the third instalment.
The third or the fifth, depending on your chronology.
Yeah, for me it's the third, because it's not Universal Soldier without Jean-Claude Van Damme. And yeah, we both went in kind of blind, very little research to just watch it and enjoy it. Benji, what did you think?
So, can I get a couple of caveats out of the way first?
Yeah.
So first of all, I don't like digital shot film, low budget digital shot film, because this film was very cold, very green and blue. So I can't say I like that. And obviously it's a low budget film. If anything, lower budget than The Return.
It was by quite substantially.
Yeah.
This one cost 9 million.
Okay.
And The Return cost at least 22 million.
But those caveats out the way, this was a very confident film, and I was actually pretty darn impressed, all things considered.
Yeah, I'll quickly do a summary of the plot, very quickly, because we're short on time for this episode. It starts off, it's not like a Universal Soldier film, a mad sort of chase scene, and then a Prime Minister's kids are kidnapped by terrorists. And then what evolves is they've been kidnapped by some people who have some of the Universal Soldiers on their side. And then the good guys get back our favourite one. It's Luke, isn't it? Played by Jean-Claude Van Damme. So he's and the good guys go after these kidnapped kids to get them back. And for some reason, don't really know why, the villains bring back Dolph Lundgren in the mix as well. And there's a big bad guy played by a UFC fighter,
Andre the Pitbull Arlovsky.
Yeah,
rolls off the tongue.
Never heard of him, but I don't follow UFC. But with The Return, we had the WCW star Goldberg. If that film is the glossy 90s fun professional wrestling, this film is UFC, I'd say.
I'd say so, yeah.
Gritty. It's well made for what it is.
Yeah.
You've got to watch it all in context. Yeah. It's very violent. That's one thing I'll add. It was the last film, there was lots of action, and it was 18 because of action and probably
outdated sexual
and that sort of whereas this, there's no love interest or anything. There is a someone who helps Luke, the only sort of real sort of female character in it, really.
I'd say so, yeah.
Who's played by a British actress who, like I say, we've not, but she was in the sitcom My Hero, which had the guy who played Dougal from Father Ted in, if you remember that.
Yes.
And then he was replaced by the guy who played Constable Goody in The Thin Blue Line. She's quite a good actress.
Yep.
Emily Joyce is her name, and she was also in one of the National Treasure movies and lots of TV stuff. So lots of British faces in this. Lots of character actors, TV actors you'll recognise. Gary Cooper, not that Gary Cooper, another one, plays Dr. Porter, who you described him as looking like a Poundland
Willem Dafoe.
And then our lad with John Bon Jovi's haircut, modern haircut. He was in 1984, Quadrophenia, loads of stuff like that. And another really familiar face is Corey Johnson, who has been in, who's in Kingsman, First Class, the X-Men film, Saving Private Ryan, Kick-Ass, loads of stuff, literally loads of stuff, very familiar face. And Dolph Lundgren is back, and this for me, as a fan, not a fan of the original, it's great to see him back. I love Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah.
He plays mean so well. And he's also, people criticise him, but in Master Universe and things like that, when he's the hero, he's also really cool.
Yeah. Well, don't forget in the Expendables, he's also sort of the funny. Yeah. He's sort of the gentle giant.
Yeah.
So.
I go to a lot of Comic-Cons, and one of my regrets, apart from forking out to meet Chuck Norris, was not meeting Dolph Lundgren. I walked past his thing, and I didn't have the funds then. So I still probably wouldn't now unless I saved. But I regret it. I'd have liked to have met him one day maybe. But the selling point of this movie is getting him back. And the UFC fighter, if you're a fan of that. It's a dark film. And
it's very, very sobering compared to The Return.
Yeah.
So I said earlier how I didn't like The Return very much, but what's interesting about Regeneration is that objectively I think it's the better film, but it's not as fun.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like I say, Regeneration is a very well made film, but I feel like crap afterwards. Whereas the original Universal Soldier and The Return, actually, you could sort of be like, it felt great. This one, you felt like, I need a hug.
Yeah, I mean, there's dark elements in the first one, obviously, and the first one was a lot bigger budget, bigger film. And it's like with the first attempt at a sequel, they've gone for all the lighter parts of it, all the more fun aspects, it being some of them outdated fun. And whereas this one, it's all the dark. So it's like they've tried to take what people criticise from The Return,
but when it in the complete other direction. It's interesting because we watched 3 films so far, and tonally they're very different films.
Yeah.
Which is quite interesting, I think.
I've enjoyed them all for different reasons.
Yeah.
All of the films would work as standalone films.
Yes.
It just slightly rebrand, slight little tweaks with the script and that sort of thing. And all of them have been entertaining. This one, though, I'd say the first 10 or so minutes, I'm like, have I put the right film on? It felt a bit like an episode of Spooks, which I pointed out during it. But then once it got going, I did really enjoy it. But a different kind of enjoyment than the last one.
Yeah.
I'd have liked to have... The soundtrack, some of it sounded tonally a bit like the more... less Queenie moments of the Flash Gordon soundtrack to me in points. But it's a real serious. There's no rock on there. There's no metal.
No, it's like I say, very sobering.
Yeah. I'd have liked. When was this made? So
2009. I believe.
2009.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe a bit of My Chemical Romance on the end credits would have been nice.
No, they couldn't afford that. Maybe My Chemical Romance tribute band.
Yeah, or maybe Megadeth could have rebranded themselves as emo this time.
Yeah,
it didn't quite work with new metal. But overall, for a straight to DVD action film, I did think it was good. But as a Universal Soldier film, I'm not so sure.
It's a tough one because I was just checking Mubi, the art house website that I frequent. You can rank any film on there, even if they're not on there.
Yeah,
and it's actually quite highly regarded.
This one's got higher ratings than the last one.
Yeah.
By quite a
bit margin.
So just having a look, I'd have said the ratings of the first one before when I'm in a little intro. This one's got 5.3 on IMDb, 3 out of 5 on Letterboxd, which is pretty good, and 34% on Rotten Tomatoes. But I don't like Rotten Tomatoes. Zavi, for some reason, have rated it 4 out of 5.
6.4 out of 10 on Mubi.
Yeah, so that's not bad, is it?
Yeah.
Can you get what The Return is on there on Mubi?
Yes, I can.
Whenever you say that, I think of Mubi from the Kevin Smith films, which
Universal Soldier: The Return, 3 out of 10.
3 out of 10, yeah. So, but Universal, I will mention it. Universal Soldier: The Return on Rotten Tomatoes has 5%, and that's not fair. No, that's not fair. No. But you had some facts about the people behind. You recognise the names?
Yeah. So the director, John Hyams, it's a name I'm not familiar with, but when I looked into him, he directed a documentary called The Smashing Machine, which of course is now a big film with Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah.
And very good, I hasten to add.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
So that probably makes sense with the UFC element.
Yeah.
But also the director of photography is John's father, Peter Hyams, who was the director of Time Cop. And Sudden Death.
Now, I think I'll research it because we had a bit of a conversation, and we are gonna, in some context, talk about the fourth and final film, Day of Reckoning. And I think he was the guy who's connected with all of them in some respect. I know there is someone behind the scenes who's done all of them. Mm-hmm. Day of Reckoning, it comes out 3 years after this.
Yeah.
And without
it is the same director as this one.
Yeah, same director.
So a bit of continuity.
On Letterboxd and Rotten Tomatoes, it's got higher reviews than this one. It hasn't on IMDb.
Yeah.
But from groups and forums and things like that, people regard it as a better film than this one.
And when you think that's the fourth film in a series where most of them are straight to DVD, that's actually pretty high praise.
Yeah.
You know. So.
I think that this one might be a learning curve, and then they know what they can do with the budget. But some of the action sequences, it was violent. There was some brutal fighting.
Yeah.
Some of it, obviously, the UFC guys, but there was a big fall off a building.
Yeah.
And I did notice there was. When Jean-Claude Van Damme was being chucked about, that was clearly a stuntman. But I mean, how old would he have been here?
He'll have been in his 50s at this point. And I get that. I'm only 40, and if I could be half as agile as he is, I'm not going to complain.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
But also, you've got to think he's playing not really a cyborg, but regenerated.
Yeah.
So he's doing stuff that humans couldn't do anyway.
Yeah.
No matter who you are. So the special effects will come into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of it was pretty brutal.
Yeah, I mean, you and I, we love our horror, and we're proper gore hounds, and even we were like, whoa.
Well, yeah, especially compared to the last one.
Yeah, the last one is very tame.
Yeah, the last one. I mean, it is still an 18, isn't it? Last one.
Yeah.
I can't that would be it would be a 15 now. The last one.
This one definitely deserves its 18.
On the Blu-ray of the third one. It says contain strong bloody violence and injury detail, which sums it up.
Yeah.
But there's no swearing or anything, I don't think. It's
only a little.
Not
the
a
odd
lot.
F-bomb, but
And I've just looked as well that I had to get a second-hand copy of the Blu-ray of Regeneration, but it has got audio commentary featuring Dolph Lundgren and the director, which I think would be pretty cool. Especially as Dolph Lundgren doesn't come into it for the first hour.
Well, he's only in it for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, but what he's in, he's good.
Yeah.
But he's very. You've got he's basically you've got him as Michael J. White would have been in the first one, and then you've got the fighter as Goldberg would have been. It's not the first, second one. That's why I want to mention that Michael J. White is actually in the first movie, but very briefly as one of the soldiers, and he kept quiet about that because he thought it might ruin his chances in the film. And then when they got on set, Van Damme, being the man he is, recognised him straight away and was like, "Yo, you're in the first one."
Can I also point out with Regeneration, with regards to Van Damme, as far as VDPM goes, Van Damme per minute.
Yeah.
You're not getting much Van Damme either.
No, you do towards the end.
You do towards the end. So really, the lead, is, for lack of a better word, is Andre the Pitbull Arlovsky.
Kind of, but I mean, then he sort of disappears, and it's all
But the funny thing is, I see him on the front cover here. I see him in the film, but he is so bland looking that he's got the charisma of a paper towel.
He reminds me of the sort of person who'd be in one of those football thug movies.
Yes.
Or the foot soldier type.
Yeah,
film.
very commanding presence, but no screen, no charisma whatsoever.
But the first sort of fist fight that he has in this goes on for a while, and it is really good.
Yeah.
To the fact of, I was a bit like, is this actually real? Because he is a fighter. I mean, I seriously doubt it would be, but you never know.
It made me wince a little bit.
Yeah. And it is that, like I say, the first act is kind of an episode of Spooks. The second act is mainly all about him and his fight scenes.
Yeah.
And the third act is Universal Soldier, because you get them back.
Yeah.
And it is one of those, I think I'd enjoy this more on a second watch.
Yeah.
Because I am waiting just for Dolph to show up, because if you didn't know he was in it, that would be a nice surprise.
Yeah, but he's on the front cover.
Yeah, and he's a selling point. Isn't he? That's the thing.
Yeah,
that's the sort of secret with this, that they couldn't put it out. When it came out a day after it was out on the DVD, it would have been out there that he's in it. So I get why he's on there, but it was probably written as a surprise that he's in it. But I thought the cast were all fine. Yeah. It's one of those. It was good, but it lacks fun.
Yeah, like I say, it's a very well made film. I can't stress that enough, because the odds are against it.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's a very confident film, given the lack of resources.
Yeah.
And Van Damme is great, although he only does a spin kick again, so 1 out of 3. Van Damme
but he does it a few times, doesn't he?
So he does it 3 times. So, diminishing returns.
Yeah.
And Dolph Lundgren is great, but it's just a very downbeat film, and I guess I shouldn't criticize it for that, because that's not fair. But it's not you, it's me sort of thing. But so, like I say, objectively, Regeneration is better than The Return,
Yeah.
but The Return is more fun.
Yeah.
So even though I rank Regeneration higher,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
very strange.
There is that, you know, whenever I review a film, like I mentioned, if anyone listened to the last episode of this when I've done Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer, I said that's a 4-star film, but for enjoyability it's a 1-star. And that there is a difference. And sometimes your moods can affect when you watch a film. If I was to, I mean, I was speaking to someone the other day, I forgot this, who said that they liked the second one and couldn't get through this. And I mean, I unless, you know, there's a fire or something, I'll stick a film on and watch it till the end, because then I can properly criticise it, really. But I say that because the first 10 minutes you don't see any of the characters.
But it was actually, the action was well made.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah. The action was good.
Yeah.
But if you're coming in here wanting those characters back and wanting those, and yes, it ignores the second one, but it's so long after. The second one could still have happened, then things happen in between.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's all. But they've definitely taken the criticism from the last one. And
it's
then,
almost an overcorrection.
Yeah, I think with something like this, it's good 10 years after the last.
It was, yeah.
I think people would have enjoyed a fun action film again, especially if it was made for video.
Yeah, because this would have been about a year before the Expendables.
Yeah.
So maybe if this was post Expendables, could it have been a bit more, not joyful for lack of a better word, but a bit more energy.
Yeah, I mean there was right near the end something happens, and I did say to you, oh my god, this is the first joke in the film.
Yes. But even then I have to think to myself, is it actually a joke, or is it we were just so starved for fun that we interpreted it as a joke?
I mean, the obvious dyeing of Van Damme's hair was quite funny, because that looks like a sort of Lego man painted on. But no, he is good in it though. He is good, and
it's almost Terminator-esque actually. He doesn't speak very much.
Yeah, well, in this he does sort of turn, doesn't he? They're sort of working with him, then they do something to him, and he turns into this machine.
Yeah.
And spoiler alert, at the end, he kind of does a run off into the sunset. I mean, the film's too dark for it to be a sunset. And he just goes, doesn't he? He just buggers off.
Probably off to his next mission.
Which will be the next film, and I'm hoping, as I say, the next film it will take elements from all of them and then be a nice finale for it.
But yeah, I feel the criticisms I give are unfair. Mm-hmm. It's purely subjective rather than objective. But like I say, given that it's a very it's a low budget, digitally shot, horrible film to look at. Although again, Peter Hyams does a good job with the camera work and whatnot, because he is a director of photography as well as a director. So I think he did a grand job. It's a very cold, harsh looking film, which isn't my cup of tea aesthetically. I love 35mm, 60mm, that sort of stuff. Which I could be wrong, but The Return felt like it was filmed on film.
Yeah,
it has that warmer feel. Yeah. But then this is set in, I think, Bulgaria. Which is a cold, harsh climate anyway.
But it's kind of like they want to fit in for the times of this one, and they forget it's a Universal Soldier movie, and that's his problem.
Yeah.
But that aside, if you're a fan of action films, when I say action films, I mean post-Arnie era action films.
Yeah. You can't really compare them. It's sort of it's sort of like it's almost like an underground film in comparison.
Yeah.
But
some good explosions.
Yeah. You've
got a time bomb going off, which I forgot about. That's fun, I suppose. And then the good fight scenes. So if you're into your action, but this is a horror and sci-fi podcast, to be honest, because of the gruesomeness in it, it probably feels more of a horror than it does a sci-fi. You've got the elements of the bringing the dead soldiers back, which is obviously sci-fi, and I suppose, and a bit of horror. But it is an action film.
Yeah.
Whereas the original, especially the first one, feels more. Well, it's the first one's the director of Independence Day and Stargate. So you've got that.
But it's quite a subdued action film.
Yeah.
For Roland Emmerich.
But I probably think the Universal Soldier is my favourite of his films in retrospect.
Mm.
I used to really like Independence Day. I've not seen it for years.
I've not seen it for years. No,
Yeah. Godzilla's rubbish.
I want to like it more than I actually do.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. Quick rating for this one.
I'm going to give it a 3 because I think it, like I say, it was confidently made. Given the circumstances, I think it was well made. It could have been terrible, but I thought it was great. It's like I say, it's not a fun film, but I enjoyed it for what it was.
Yeah.
And would I watch it again? Probably not. But I said earlier, I gave The Return 2 out of 5. I could see myself returning to that one.
Yeah.
More paradoxically.
Yeah.
But I could take multitudes, so what do I know? So.
Yeah. so that's why it's called The Return. Because you know you return. For me, say it's a 3, but not a hell yeah, rageous and yell heavy metal 3, which is fun. It's a well-made, competent action film. Oh my god, did they just do that? 3. So there we go. But yeah, thanks for joining me again.
Yeah, you're welcome.
What we're going to do, I'll let people know. We're going to do the 4th one, but then find another Van Damme, or we could do a Dolph Lundgren, I don't know. But another film to talk about with it, which fits into the horror, sci-fi. It'll probably be sci-fi element, and we'll do another double biller.
Yep.
So thank you all for listening, and I'll be back in a sec. Big thanks to Benji, because we've not had much time, but we've done it.
Yeah.
And we've enjoyed the film and the company of each other.
Thanks for fitting me in. Really appreciate it.
No worries at all. Huge thanks to Benji there, and a big thanks to Jean-Claude Van Damme for making those movies. Different, as I say, but kind of fun. And we'll be back next year to talk about the final part of that franchise. But I'll be back in a week or so to chat about Critters 2, the second in my 5-part kind of mini-series about the Critters franchise. Also coming up, I'm going to try to do something on some horror Christmas-based movies and maybe some sci-fi Christmas-based movies. See what I can do, see what guests I can get together. But thank you all for listening. Please follow us on the socials. Please rate us, give us those 5-star ratings, write comments, write reviews. All helps. And also it's fun to talk about the movies. And I think with these two, people will definitely have different opinions to us. We don't want to argue because everyone's got different views, but it's nice to chat about things. Check out. We've got loads of episodes up already. I think this is the 35th possibly. All going cool. Nice to have fun chatting about these movies, especially the ones like these sequels that are less well known. I've been Andy Martin. This has been Beyond Graves and Stars, and hopefully catch you all very soon.